M and I. No, not M and I. Am I an Indian? The term defies logic. The whole North American landmass thing, the U.S. thing, all the Indian tribes killing each other off, and then the horrible people from Europe came in and stole their country. Yeah, we just stole the Indians' territory. But where did these Indians come from? You know, the strange thing about it all is that they came from Russia. Do you realize? Now, this has personal meaning to me because I recently did the 23andMe DNA test, and I found out that I am 3.7% American Indian. Whatever the fuck that is. I got no idea. But it turns out, you know, when the U.S. was first populated, there was a land bridge. Apparently, sea level had sunk, or the land had risen. Yeah, who knows? A lot of ice, tied up some water. I got no idea at this point in time. Too many fucking controversies about global warming and global cooling and who knows what the fuck. But apparently about 15,000 years ago, for some reason, there was land between what we now know as Alaska and the eastern edge of Russia. And, it's like they were connected. Now, back then, there were no maps or anything, so it was just, look at that. There's a place to walk across. Let's walk across there and see what's going on the other side. And that's what they did. So, there are all kinds of weird stories about, travelers from South America somehow, getting on ships and going to southern Russia and then hopping off and riding llamas into the distance. And I mean, just crazy shit. But I think whoever the natural inhabitants, clearly you had to, think about it. You have to have some natural skills to survive in a place where it gets to negative 50 degrees in the winter. So I don't think, someone from Central America could have made their way to Russia, which it's a popular story. Look it up on YouTube. Google it. They say that Venezuelans made their way to Russia, and then they went across the land bridge 15,000 years ago, and that's why we have Mexicans in America. There are all kinds of problems with that, right? Venezuelans to Russia in America, and suddenly we have Mexicans. You don't even need to argue the point, right? Whoever's saying this shit. All right, so let's forget the whole South American, Middle, Central American, wherever. Nah, none of those fuckers ever came up and got into Russia where it's really fucking cold and managed to survive. Now, you had to fucking grow up there with grizzly bears and polar bears. And, you'd wake up, in the middle of the night. And then, you look out of your teepee or whatever Russians used back then. You look out and there's a and there's this big old bear sniffing, right? So you'd throw out a chunk of, you'd keep some shit in the tent just to throw it out there to, scare off the bear. Not scare them, but detract them. Detract? No, it's not detract, it's distract. Whatever. I don't care. Stop being so pedantic about English, goddammit. So anyway, where was I? We're talking about how, oh yeah, and I'm, all right, let's get back to the important shit here. All right, so there was a bridge back before whatever happened, and you could walk. I wouldn't long walk. I would have rode a horse or waited till they invented cars or something. But so you could go from eastern Russia to western Alaska. There's another story. I mean, look at the distance between the 48. We got the 48 normal, right? And we got those other two. I mean, why is so far away? There's some corruption going on there, man. What? I figure some senator went out there one weekend, got laid by some hot Hawaiian chick, and goes, "Well, we're gonna have to annex this." I mean, really, that's probably how it happened. It's just simple. I mean, you could go for the dull pineapple explanation. I mean, that's what happened in a lot of Central America. We took over some of their countries and had the CIA execute their leaders so we could, dull pineapple. I mean, imagine this. So we could make some money. And, of course, Hawaii did become a big, they made a lot of pineapple, and what was the other one? What was the other one? I don't remember. But I think it started with some senator going over there and getting laid. And it was like, oh, man. Woohoo! You got to annex that. 49. Now, I don't know which one came first. Was it Alaska or Hawaii? 49, 50, 50, 49. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure it started off with some kind of, personal need. So anyway, we get all that going on. But getting back to the point. All right. So anyway, back 15,000 years ago, Eastern Russia, land, Western Alaska, which wasn't Alaska then. It was just, that's where you land. That's the point. And so they got off. And so they, over the years, now it took years, there were a lot of teepees built and maybe even some other structures. I don't know what kind of architectural technical skills the Russians in that eastern portion of Russia had. I mean, you ever looked at that? I mean, there's nothing there. There's fucking nothing there. Of course they left. I mean, can you imagine you're sitting around one night with the family? There's nothing here, Dad. Oh, you're so negative, Junior. No, Mom. No, I'm telling you. Have you been outside lately? There's, I mean, look around. I walked all around the neighborhood. And in fact, I took an extended hike and I walked 100 miles in every direction on the compass. And there's nothing here. Oh, you exaggerate. You're so melodramatic. No, Mom. Uh-uh. I'm telling you, there's nothing here. And you and Dad can stay here. Go ahead. Stay in the little hut. Hut. Made out of ice because it's cold here. I don't like it here anymore. It's too cold. But I am looking at the bridge, that land bridge over there that leads over to the other side. And I am gonna leave. Oh, Junior, Junior, the bridge. That's the bridge that leads to nowhere. Oh, who knows? Mom, Mom, when's the last time you went outside? Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus, your sister went outside at the future. Mom, stop. It's embarrassing. I walked in every direction, from here to there, in every direction of the compass. And I know, 100 miles in every one of those directions. And I know there is nothing here. I mean, maybe, I got a little bit, I got west. And it looked like there was some kind of glow in the distance. I don't know what a glow means because this is 15,000 years before light bulbs were invented. But, Mom, I'm telling you, maybe something was going on over there. I am walking across the land bridge. I don't even know why I call it that. It's just land. I'm going to walk. Here we go. I'm walking now. Oh, yeah. And that's how it started. A conversation between a group of family members back 15,000 years ago when somebody realized that there may be a bigger world out there. And so they came over. They went for that walk, the brave ones. And then they inhabited what we now know as Alaska, the 49th or the 50th, depending on how you count. I don't know. And so suddenly there are Americans. Now that was 15,000 years ago. So now we got a little evolution to go. And so those Americans started migrating throughout, the northern territories. And that's why you have Canadians. Canadians are Russians that came across the land bridge back in the time due to the argument in the tent where the boy wanted to leave his family. And that's why we have Canadians. That's the only reason we have Canadians. But they're here now. And they do okay. I like Canadians. They're okay. They're very nice for the most part. If you ever traveled across Canada, there's lots of Canadians. And, pretty much everywhere you go, there are Canadians. And they're okay. I mean, They still have Burger Kings and Taco Bells and all that stuff. There's no reason for Canadians to not be friendly, okay? But so that was 15,000 years ago. We started having Canadians, and I don't know what happened from there on. But somehow some of them started thinking out loud. Oh, somebody. I think I moved south. Sounds more like a Russian accent, which it is, okay. 15,000 years ago, Canadians had a Russian accent, okay. So some of them got bored, or some of them hated their parents. It's like, oh, fuck this, I'm out of here, I'm going away. Fuck you. No more of that. I'm moving. And the most obvious direction was south. It was warmer. Like every, 1,000 miles you would go south, it would get 20 degrees warmer. And suddenly, you didn't need to kill bears or sheep or yaks or whatever to make winter coats so you wouldn't freeze to fucking death. Suddenly you're in Seattle. Fucking Seattle, 15,000 years ago. You can imagine. There were very few leftists at that time, and the place was probably okay. It's like you move in, you pitch a tent, and you don't have to worry about any kind of, riots or people burning down towns and BLM protests or shit. It was an easy life back then. So that's the way it worked. And then from there, it just branched out. From the first Russian Canadians in Seattle, the evolution happened. Sex does its thing, and pretty soon, it's like, oh, it's getting crowded here. I'm going to move somewhere else. And it just, there you go. That's how the United States happened. Russia, Alaska, Seattle, United States. And so we're all really related, as much as we hate to admit it. And I know I really hate to admit that my ancestors came from Seattle. And as a matter of fact, they didn't. Well, they mostly did. But so here's my personal story. So I did the 23andMe DNA test, and I came up 3.7% Native American. What does that even mean now? Russia, Alaska, Seattle. I think those are Native Americans. Might not have the black hair and the, horse riding ability. You don't know how to carve an arrow and shoot it at someone. But what is a Native American? Anyway, apparently there were already some people here. Maybe some kind of fucking, I don't know, what do you call it? Origin story. It's just like there was somebody dropped a sperm off, and there was this whole new generation. But apparently, somehow, the Russian Alaskan Seattleans met up with another group of people, and I'm guessing they came upwards, up, meaning north. So from somewhere in the south. So up through Central America, Mexico, so on and so forth. And there was a collision. I mean, uh, you know, beauty might be skin deep, but when you see something new you've never seen, you go, wow, look at that. And I can imagine, some Russian, Alaskan, Seattlean looked at some Venezuelan, Costa Rican, Mexican, Southern Californian and said, whoa, look at that. And then there was me. So 23andMe DNA says I'm 3.7 American Indian, whatever the fuck that is. I got no idea, and I don't think it matters. Other than that, I mean, I think I'm over 100% on all of it, when you add it all up. More than 100%. So I'm like 50% Scottish, and I'm 50% English from the center of England, the center of Scotland. But here I am, and I'm 3.7% Native American. And it turns out I did the research. My great-grandmother was Apache. So, when you do the math, when you go through the divisions, half, half. Turns out I'm 3.7% Apache. Whatever that is, I don't know. I don't think they even, they kept it all that, clean back then. I don't think evolution is that clean. I think there's, sex is too big, Imagine you're out in the woods one day and you see this naked, well-tanned, tremendously sexy, long dark-haired woman. And are you really going to stop to ask, what tribe are you from? No. So anyway, I think the Apache designation is bullshit. But I do have some native blood in me. So most of my people, most of me, came across the land bridge and made the trip down over the 15,000 years. And then some of me, a small percentage of me, came up from the south and collided. And they say that all this has an origin back in Africa. So it's like everybody was fleeing Africa. Let's get the fuck out of here. This is too hot. These fucking animals. It's not safe. So when everybody was fleeing Africa, they went in different directions, and yet they ended up in the same place. And that explains me. And you. If you get the 23andMe DNA test, you probably will be a lot like me. Well, that's the way it goes. We'll talk more later.